the Chiefs have had in some time. But it's awesome to open the season at 1-0. Now, as is a lot of the Kingdom traditions, we have kept them going tonight. I have with me the famous Book of Sealed Signatures, found at the bottom of an archaeological dig somewhere in the Holy Land. That is signed by Chiefs fans when it looked like it was the darkest of all time. That will be open when the Chiefs win in the postseason. Just saying, that's going to be an awesome night. Also, yesterday, if I've ever seen a game where this happened, it was this game. I'll talk with Coach Reed about it in just a second, but Jacksonville had 74 snaps in that game, did not cross the 50-yard line until 7:08 to go in the game. So for the Kansas City Chiefs, they were able to put the hammer down. Baby, you got it. And we've got a special guest tonight. And it's awesome that he is here as our very first Kingdom guest of the year, because he is the leader of our football team, both on and off the field. And on February 28th, when we were able to exercise the trade, I was excited to see this guy take us over. But our special guest tonight is Chiefs quarterback Alex Smith. We'll hear from Alex a little bit later in the show, and with him tonight is his special assistant, Hudson Smith, a.k.a. known as HUD, and he is the man of the hour. Brad G. is here tonight from Chiefs PR, along with Megan, his wife, and Henry, otherwise known as HGG. He is with HUD. They are the bosses of the evening. We got a great group here tonight. Of course, a lot of our regulars, the Metcalf Bank folks are here in the Metcalf Bank suite that we built just for them here at Dave & Buster's at the Legends. Also, the Taj Mahal tailgaters, Susie Bling Bling, Kent the cake baker, and yes, I do thank Kent for the cake, and Susie, so got that going on. Also, the geeks are here in force, as always. Snowstorm Sandy leading the way. Cindy Lou Who is here tonight, the autograph geek, Sling Blade geek, Weird Wolf, Weird Wife. Arrow Man is here tonight, ready for the Dallas Cowboys. And Civil War geek, Herb the Kidney Marine is here. And part of the geeks, but as like any special very popular thing, there's always spinoffs. And tonight is the first night that we will introduce to you a new group. It is called Reed's Redheads. All right? Reed's Redheads, led by the Queen of Hearts. And so if you're a redhead and want to apply for that special group, you can find her, but she is recruiting for Reed's Redheads. Also, Casey Chef is here tonight, Fire Hat Matt, the Lake Lotawana Lake Rats, and Big Daddy Lake Rat, the Princess Lake Rat, and others. The Wolverines are here tonight, and the Mezzanine. Also here tonight are the Red Coders. They do so much to help our franchise. And two queens, not just one, but two queens are here with their tiaras tonight. That's special. The Red Hots are here as well in a great position. The Savage couldn't be here tonight. He's got school and work going on. And also the Irish Brigade is here tonight. Lieutenant Colonel Chris McGowan and the Irish Brigade, they are here as well. So anyway, it's going to be just to get the season off this way, several different plays. We'll talk with Alex about it later in the show, but get in the red zone 3 times to score 3 touchdowns in 3 red zone possessions has not happened here in a long time. Those plays were huge. And for the Kansas City Chiefs defense to dominate, 3 sacks by Justin Houston, that was huge. The interception by Brandon Flowers, that was huge. And Dontari Poe is huge. And we come back, I'll talk about his line. We'll ask Coach Reed about that as well. It's great to have you here tonight. This is the first Chiefs Kingdom show of the year. The Chiefs are 1-0. We're at Dave & Buster's. The show brought to you by your Midwest Ford dealers. We'll be back with Coach Reed live from Arrowhead Stadium after this on the Chiefs Fox Football Radio Network.
Chiefs licking their chops, trying to get a 7th sack. Gabbert, quick throw, intercepted! Right into the arms of Tamba Hali! Another interception, touchdown, Kansas City! Tamba Hali, his second career interception. The first was 2006.
And this was a pick six. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the Chiefs Kingdom Live, our Midwest Ford Dealers Chiefs Kingdom show, brought to you by the Midwest Ford Dealers. Check them out at your MidwestFordDealers.com. We're live at Dave & Buster's in the Legends with a gigantic crowd celebrating a 28-2 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Later on in the show, we will hear from our very special guest, quarterbacks Alex Smith. But now let's give a robust welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as he joins us from his office at One Arrowhead Drive. Give it up for the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid.
Thanks, Mitch.
They're fired up here, Coach. I'm just going to tell you, they are wound up and ready for this week, celebrating the victory. And congratulations to you on that win. I've got to ask you, when I watched the tape, 74 offensive snaps and 2 points. 13 snaps on your side of the field, and 9 of those were the last 9. What about just dominating this team, particularly when you were on defense?
Well, listen, I was proud of the guys. I was proud of the guys. I was also proud of the Kansas City Chiefs fans that were at that game. And there was red everywhere, and they helped support us through that heat and humidity there, man, kept us going. And so we're looking forward to bringing this next crew in here to Arrowhead Stadium. But to get back to your question, I was proud of the guys and the way they handled themselves. They did come out and dominate both sides of the ball. When the offense had an opportunity to score, they scored. And when the defense, they had an opportunity to shut down their offense, they did that. And then our kicking game, you got to give hats off to both our kicker and our punter. They created a poor field position at all times for Jacksonville.
Another question about the defense, Coach. And I mean, watching the tape, I found myself having fun watching them because it looked like they were having fun, the way they flew around at the ball and helping each other. What about the contagious feeling that maybe exists there, not just with your defense, but how that can permeate through your whole team, coaching staff, support staff? Because it looks like those guys had fun yesterday.
Well, they did. They flew around. Bob had a great game plan for them. Their coaches helped teach it, and then the players went out and they executed. I thought they did it with emotion, and they believed in what they were doing, and yeah, you saw that, and that's what it was. I felt that on the sideline with the guys. They were all in. They couldn't wait to get back out there and do it one more time. And really, when I tried to take them out of the game at the end, they were fighting me to come out of the game. They wanted to have that shutout that they had presented, and they wanted to make sure they maintained that.
Well, the guys on the field did just that, kept them out of the end zone, just the block punt for the 2 points. We'll get to that in a second. But I want to ask you first of all about Dontari Poe. You have really brought a team feeling to this, and we're going to hear from Alex Smith later in the show, and he just accentuates that for you. But Dontari Poe, when I looked at his line, it looked like a guy who had a triple-double in basketball. For a 0 tech or 1 tech or nose guard to have 6 tackles, 5 unassisted, 1.5 sacks, a tackle for a loss, 2 passes defended, and a pass broken up. And that's from the guy in the middle of the defense who's usually not putting up big numbers. I mean, that position. What about that line for a guy who plays that spot?
Well, listen, I mean, he's an exceptional athlete for anybody of any size, but for somebody that's that big, that can move like he can move and then still hold the point like he does, you've got a Mack truck sitting right in the middle of your defense, and it's really an immovable object. So, and then he gives you pass rush in there too, which you don't expect from a big nose guard, but Listen, he's smart, he's tough, he's big, he can do everything he needs to do, and he's focusing in on doing this every game this year. That's a tough position, and you got to be a tough-minded guy, but he enjoys being in there. Those are unique characters. As
an offensive coach, and you've coached this game for a long time, but for offensive coaches to see a guy that close to the football to do what he does, what potential problems does that give to a guy that's trying to game plan, where there's a guy sitting there in the A gap or right there at the 0 tech, that close to the ball doing what he does?
Yeah, well, listen, on a 34 defense, when you just have the 3 down linemen, that guy is where you start, and then you kind of build out from there. You want to make sure the middle of your defense is strong, not only with your safeties and your linebackers, but most of all with your nose guard. It all starts there, and so we're very fortunate to have him in Kansas City and being a part of the Chiefs.
Offensively, you've studied this team the last couple of years, watched tape, seen the stats. I don't have to tell you that this team in the red zone has been the bottom of the league for 2 years. That changed yesterday. You had 3 red zone opportunities. You cashed in with 3 touchdowns all 3 times. What does that do for you guys? And as you looked at on tape, what did you do to execute to get into the end zone?
Well, we did just that. We executed. It starts with the quarterback. We threw the ball down there and stayed aggressive with it. One of the drives, we ran the ball a little bit more than we threw. But, listen, he had a big scramble. I'm talking about Alex. He had a big scramble. He also had some big throws. That throw to Junior was an exceptional throw. We call those keyhole throws, where they just barely fit through a keyhole, and then you had Junior go up and make a great catch and still get his feet in. So, but down there, everything's a little faster, and all your strengths and weaknesses are exploited down in the red zone, and I thought our guys really stepped up, and the big old line did a great job blocking, and both the run and the pass, and then the fellas they executed around him, and Alex kind of commanded that whole thing there, and that was fun to watch.
What about the whole game for the offensive line? You got Eric Fisher getting his first start. Jeff Schwartz had to fill in for Asamoah being hurt. When you graded the tape and looked at those guys, what did you see?
Yeah, I saw them get better throughout the game, and that I thought was important. There's some young guys in there, and they're all growing, and so I thought the strength of Jacksonville's team was right up front there on that defensive line. So I knew it was going to be a big challenge for our guys, and I thought they stepped up and handled it well.
We'll get to Dallas in a second because they, of course, pose a different challenge on both sides of the ball. But I do have to ask you on offense. There was you had a chance to just kick the door down big time. And you controlled this game really after the block punt. But there were 5 possessions, Coach, you had on the plus side of the 50. What did you see trying to clean some things up there? You get a 7 or a 3 or get 10 more out of those. You get 2 scores there, and you break the thing wide open. What about those 5 possessions crossing the 50?
Yeah, well, listen, you want to score every opportunity that you have the football in your hands, and so we can get better there. I'll tell you this, though, Mitch. When I look at it, I've got to look at both sides of the ball. I always look at turnovers. Are we creating turnovers on the defensive side, and then are we allowing points? And then on the offensive side, are we eliminating turnovers, and are we scoring points? And I really don't care how many yards the offense has against our defense or how many yards our offense has, as long as we've got more points than the other team. This is a tough league. It's very competitive. And so I don't go beyond other than let's have more points than they have. And turnovers are a huge, huge factor in this league. So let's eliminate those on the offensive side. Let's create them on the defensive side. And then let's make that redhead up in the box there that's the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs happy, man. So he's got something he can talk about up there a little bit.
Well, I had it talking about it yesterday, and believe me, Coach, I enjoyed every second of it. It's been a long time coming, and so excited about the future and this week. You mentioned special teams so far, but I got to ask you, it was one of the craziest situations because last Sunday you were able to pick up those guys off the waiver wire. You signed 7 new guys, and then when I look at the scheme and the personnel, I'm seeing all these guys other than Chad Hall active and on the field. How much did they contribute yesterday, and how'd they do, those new guys?
Well, you know what, they were in there, and really they all got to play. So as the game went on, they all contributed somewhere, but most of them were on special teams and helped out there. I thought they did a good job. We had a little bit of communication problem with that first block punt. Got that straightened out, and then it was kind of smooth sailing from there. But I look forward to having these guys another week, and we can continue to build on this. I think there's some good players there. It's just a matter of them getting caught up with what we're doing.
So many awesome fans here tonight. We've got a gigantic crowd, and they're ready to – they love their celebrating the victory, but they know they've been around this league. They know it's time to get ready for the Dallas Cowboys and open up the doors of Arrowhead Stadium this Sunday and welcome the Cowboys in. I don't know if the NFC East can't get rid of you or you can't get rid of the NFC East, but I think it is somewhat ironic that your first year here, you've got to cross-pollinate, I say, or cross-schedule against the NFC East. What about playing Dallas after you've knocked heads with these guys for the past 14 years?
Well, that's unique. I mean, I've got to admit that. You and I talked earlier about that, and that's a unique situation to have the opportunity to play those people. But listen, there's no place I'd rather bring them to than Arrowhead Stadium. I mean, the crowd and the noise. From what I understand, we've got all the redheads together there, man. They're ready to roll. With the Queen of Hearts, she's ganging it up. Excuse me, ganging it up and ready to go. I can hear the voices in the background. It sounds like it's crazy there.
It's pretty crazy.
I can just imagine when we pack the stadium and then bring the Cowboys in here and let them have a little taste of that.
Yes, the Queen of Hearts is here with their new group, Reed's Redheads. So it's catching on like wildfire. What about this Dallas team, though? Now, defensively, you've seen DeMarcus Ware. Those corners are pretty good. Last night, they had their moments. Offensively against Dallas, as you kind of give the quick look at them, what do you see?
Well, listen, they're fully loaded. They've got a ton of talent on that football team. They've got a very good head football coach in Jason Garrett. They've got a good coaching staff, both offensively and defensively, very experienced, and then they've got players that they played together for a while. So, listen, it's a great challenge. We look forward to that challenge, though. This is why we're all in this business. You want to play against the best, and every week you want that. And so we're hoping they're all healthy and ready to go, and we look forward to the challenge of playing them.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we want to respect Coach's time, so we got to let him go back to work at One Arrowhead Drive. But let's give him a big cheer. Now, what the Chiefs were able to do yesterday and what they're going to do this week against the Cowboys is put the hammer down. Send Andy to work. Coach, thanks for being with us tonight. Andy Reid, head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Thanks, Mitch. Thanks the fans, too, bud.
Yes, sir. When we come back, we will talk with the quarterback of your Kansas City Chiefs, Alex Smith. Again, we're on the Midwest Ford Dealers Chiefs Kingdom Show. We're live at Dave & Buster's. You can come join us the next half hour at the Legends. I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs. We'll be back after this. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Chiefs football.
tackle. Jamal Charles into the sweet nectar of the end zone for the first time this season.
Oh, yeah, there is nothing like the sweet nectar of the end zone as the Chiefs' left side folded down. The Jacksonville Jaguars, Anthony Sherman made a terrific block. Donald Stevenson coming in tackle over tackle made a great block, and it was awesome as the Chiefs had their third red zone touchdown in as many possessions. Again, we are live on the Midwest Ford Dealers Chiefs Kingdom Show, live at Dave & Buster's and the Legends. And now it is my distinct pleasure to welcome to you, and maybe this is his official welcome to the Chiefs Kingdom. Please welcome your quarterback, Alex Smith.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thanks so much for being with us to be on the inaugural edition of the Kingdom for 2013. I'm going to go back to February 28th because I was out actually doing a basketball game, and I got the word from my scouts saying, hey, we just made the trade for Alex Smith, and I got pretty fired up because I just seeing what you had done the last couple of years. Now all of a sudden, this has all kind of come together. You get another opportunity. You give this team another opportunity. Just your feelings after being 1-0 and now having this thing in full throttle.
Well, yeah, I mean, a great start. Certainly don't know if it's full throttle, at least for us on offense. Defense played pretty good. But, you know, it was a great start for us. And you know, it's not exactly how you draw it up. It's not always perfect, but the W is what matters most. And we got it, and we got off to a great start. And I think that was important for us, just, you know, so many new faces, so much turnover from last year, and to be able to make most of the offseason and get off on the right note, I think is really key for us. So
I'm going to give you credit here, and the fans need to know just the focus you have had because, I mean, you maximize every day, but you said, hey, eyes on Jacksonville. You were saying it in the spring.
Yeah.
I mean, is that from your 9 years experience in the league?
I think so.
You exude all this wisdom.
Yeah. When I was younger, I think it was easier to get caught up in preseason and camp, but for me the entire time, really opening day. And it's so easy to look at the season and get sucked into different things and get looking ahead. I think it's important to kind of keep, you know, kind of tunnel vision, narrow vision, stay short-sighted, and really it's such a week-to-week thing. And for me, the entire time was just thinking about Jacksonville, thinking about this game. So
I'm going to ask you, Alex, to get 3 red zone penetrations and 3 touchdowns. To me, that's the highlight for the offense. Your thoughts on that? Yeah,
it certainly was. You know, anytime you can be efficient down there and then 100% on top of that, you know, it can really cover up some other things. We certainly could have played a lot better, especially in that second half, and kind of gave some opportunities away. But when we did get in the red zone, we were getting touchdowns, and the way our defense was playing really got us out to a lead and kind of, you know, put that game out of reach. So that certainly, I think, was the key stat for us offensively. You need to clean up some things here and there, but anytime you can do that, I think you put yourself in good situations.
Let's go through these TDs one by one. You found Donnie Avery, left front pylon. Let's go through that one.
Yeah, did a great job. I thought the tempo offensively, starting with the guys up front, getting set, and you know, kind of caught him off guard there. Quick snapped it and kicked the ball to Donnie in the flat, and I thought he did a great job breaking that tackle, keeping his feet, and you know, really was all him. So. Junior
Hemingway, nice throw.
Yeah,
nice throw.
Seems like all he does is catch touchdowns. Junior. You know, when he got in there, he had his opportunity, he made the most of it. You know, and that's what you ask of those guys that are in his kind of role, that, you know, they aren't playing every down and they're getting limited opportunities, and when they do come in, he's just the type of guy he is, type of player he is. It seems like when he gets his opportunities in practice, it's the same thing. He just makes plays, and just a heck of a catch in the back line. You know, once again, I mean, credit really goes to him. I mean, a heck of a play back there. So.
And then Jamal gets into the end zone, but that was well blocked.
Yeah, really well blocked, the left side there. I think 3 guys really stand out to me. You look at Donald and B.A. coming off the left side there, really caving it down, and then Sherman leading the way, just really well executed.
I'm going to give you some credit here too, and our fans need to know. I keep talking about this, but it's so unique, and this is a big part of what you've done for this team since you rolled into town.
is the feeling, because football is such a difficult game, you can have offense kind of be separated from defense. But right, it's like the integration. You integrated the defense right away.
Well, yeah, and I think it started with competition, us kind of jabbing, especially in the back end. I love getting competitive with the guys in the secondary. Barry and Brandon, those guys, and it's such a friendly competition, and we push each other. But, it is the ultimate team game, and defense was playing great, and I think, the way they were playing, I thought offensively, at times it wasn't always perfect, but we didn't give them a short field. We didn't turn the ball over. We let our special teams make plays, and we got a great punter, and he kept pinning them deep, and defense kept holding them back there and then giving us good field position. So, sometimes it's not always pretty. It's not always what you want, but the field position game is important. And then the way our defense was playing. I mean, to pitch a shutout like that opening day and just dominate the way they did. It was fun to watch, and certainly made it easy on us on offense.
Before we flip the switch to Dallas, I got to ask you about this coaching staff, because I really like these guys. And on your side of the ball, Doug Peterson, Matt Nagy. I mean, walk through these guys, because to me, I've been in the league, and it's my 20th year, but this group seems to be unique.
Yeah, a ton of experience on the offensive side of the ball, and our coaching staff in general. But for me, especially on the offensive side of the ball, starting with Coach Reed and Doug and Nags in the quarterback room. But then, when you got Coach Childress there helping out in any way he can, a coach of his caliber, that's really fortunate for us. We got a great staff, and Coach Reed's done a great job putting those guys together. They do a great job preparing us throughout the week, putting great game plans together, and are such great teachers. I think that's the thing that gets missed a lot of times in the NFL, especially. These guys are great teachers. I think they do a great job of communicating and teaching. Starts with that. So.
All right, flip the switch time, because now the Dallas Cowboys come into town at Arrowhead Stadium. This should be festive. But here come the Cowboys. You know about these guys. Now, what about flipping the switch? Because you've had us all thinking Jacksonville. Now you got to all think Dallas. What about the switch?
That's right. That's how it goes. Today you go in this morning and you review. Even last night you review that tape and then you're done with it. It's away. It's done. And you're already watching the Dallas game. I watched the Dallas game last night. You're looking for anything that can help, and you're going in today and you're watching the Dallas tape. So certainly a talented team. Got a lot of talent across the board, offense and defense. But I can't wait for them to come in here and see Arrowhead rocking and see how much trouble it causes Romo and that offense. It'll be a good challenge for us, though. They're good defensively. Monty Kiffin, they're going to play the Tampa 2, kind of the creator of it, and they play sound football. So we'll have to be on top of our game.
What are the characteristics of the Tampa 2? I know the middle linebacker's got to be athletic, and they seem to have their own little kind of twist to it. They play a little man on the outside.
They do. 2? Yeah, the Tampa 2 gets a lot of attention, and it really only gets played in passing situations. It kind of gets sprinkled in, but he was the creator of it, so it's gotten a lot of attention. But yeah, they're going to play a lot of man at times as well. Especially outside, they're going to press up and play and challenge you and play some man. And they're going to play cover 3. It's actually a lot of similarities to the Jacksonville defense. So there should be some good carryover there.
We're going to go to break, but when we come back, we're going to have our next segment with Alex, and we've got the boss here tonight, Hudson Smith. We're going to get into why family is so important to this guy, and really it goes back, it's generational. But give a big cheers as we go to break. The quarterback here tonight, Alex Smith of the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll be back with more from Alex. We are Dave and Buster's on the Chiefs Kingdom Show. We'll be back after this on the Chiefs Fox Football Radio Network.
back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Chiefs Kingdom Show, brought to you by your Midwest Ford dealers. Check them out at your MidwestFordDealers.com. We're at Dave & Buster's in the Legends, and with us tonight, the best way to start a year is win, and to blow out the Jags 28-2, and then to have the quarterback, Alex Smith, be here as our first guest of the Chiefs Kingdom. It's time now for our Time Warner Cable Turning Point play of the game. Alex already talked about this play a little bit, but a great way to get things going. When you get to the red zone, baby, get some touchdowns, and that's exactly what the Chiefs did.
Smith, left side throw to Donnie Avery, breaks a tackle and tiptoes into the end zone. Left front pylon, touchdown, Kansas City. Donnie Avery says hello to the kingdom with a touchdown grab.
Heck yeah, that's brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Nice touchdown. We already broke that down. Now, I got to tell you about this guy that's our quarterback. This is one unique individual. First of all, I don't want to embarrass him, but he actually aced the Wonderlic. He graduated from Utah in 2 years. You did it in 2 years in an economics degree?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I don't know how. Yeah.
Macroeconomics or microeconomics? Both.
Both. Yeah. It's econ.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's awesome. That's terrific. And quite honestly, he could have had the opportunity to go to Oxford or Cambridge. He's in that level. Did you ever think about doing that?
I did give it some thought. Yeah. Luckily, football was going pretty good at that point, so made my decision easy.
Well, we got a lot of folks here in this crowd that could go to Oxford or Cambridge. Oxford, Kansas, or Cambridge, Nebraska. But that's okay. Then, family's so important. We got Hudson here tonight, but Hudson isn't the only member of the recruiting class. You've just added.
Yeah, that's right. Had our second, Hayes. He's 5 months now. He's at home with the babysitter, so just Hud made the trip out.
Well, Hud's doing a great job tonight, being kind of your bodyguard. But family, I know, is important to you. In fact, it's interesting. This goes all the way back generational. But I think it was your great grandfather came from Austria-Hungary.
My great grandfather, yeah, came to Ellis Island when he was a young man. They got 12 or 14, not sure on the age. This is all kind of word of mouth, and took the name John Smith. That's where my name Smith comes from. And he was so proud to be an American, he never told anybody his real name, ever. Not even his wife or his kids. So that's how the name Smith's been passed down to my grandfather, my dad, and me, and our family name, yeah. So.
And he chose John Smith. So
John Smith, yeah.
Wasn't Thaddeus?
No, I don't think. Yeah,
or something.
Yeah, no.
That's fascinating. I mean, he came in a difficult time too, because there were some tumultuous times going on.
Yeah, right around the turn of the century. It was from present-day Austria and came through, and then he ended up. Funny thing is, ended up fighting in World War I, served in the army, and basically fighting against his old country.
Wow.
Yeah, in World War I. So
that is crazy. Now, there's some Serbian ties here, right?
Yeah. So he was of Serbian descent, but it basically was all the same Austro-Hungarian Empire at that time. Yeah.
But your siblings have tried to keep this going, have you not?
So you're asking about the tattoo?
Yes, sir,
yeah,
I am.
Yeah. So my dad was a high school principal for over 20 years. Before that, a teacher and coach, and he's the last guy you would ever imagine getting a tattoo. And we somehow convinced him on his 60th birthday that all 4 kids and him would get this tattoo, and we kind of tied it into the whole Smith name and how we got it and heritage a little bit. And so somehow he said, yeah, we all got it. So
a weak moment. But it's cool because it's the Serbian cross.
It is, yeah. So it's the Serbian cross, and then he has 4 kids, and the Serbian cross has 4 S's in it, but he got his 4 kids' initials in the 4 corners. That's how he did his. So
outstanding.
Yeah.
I mean, this is awesome to me because obviously this is very important to you.
Yeah.
And you got a wonderful wife. And found her in NoCal. You're a SoCal guy.
Yeah.
How did that all work out?
Lucked out. Yeah, mutual friend introduced us, and I got lucky. Somehow fooled her. Yeah.
And she's a chef, and she's a fascinating gal. But it's awesome to have you here. The one thing Alex and I share, other than loving the Kingdom and loving the Chiefs, is we're both San Diego Padre fans. You did grow up in San Diego.
I did.
What was that like?
A huge Tony Gwynn fan growing up. Man, he was my
the
favorite.
best.
Yeah, Tony Gwynn. It was rough at times, though, being a Padre fan growing up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, had to be loyal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, growing up in San Diego, so I think I always have a loyalty there for them. No matter where I go. So.
And I'm guessing, wasn't Reggie Bush with you in high school?
He was, yeah. Yep. Pretty fortunate. He was year behind me. He did have a good day yesterday. It was good for him. I was excited to see that. I think that's a good fit for him.
Kind of nice to throw checkdowns to him, just let him go and win a CIF title.
Yeah, I didn't do many throwing to him. It was mostly handing off to him and watching, like everybody else.
Told you he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
Alex, thanks for coming out tonight. I know you got a couple more minutes to do some stuff here, but I can't thank you enough for being willing to come to Kansas City, being the quarterback, and being willing to come out tonight. Let's do this.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Alex Smith, quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, and Hudson, the man, Hud. We'll come back. I've got a very special announcement when we return to Dave & Buster's. We'll be back to close out the show. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Chiefs football.
Chiefs at the 23 of Jacksonville. Chiefs with it 14-2. Shotgun snap to Smith. Now moves right. He's going to scramble. 25-yard line, 20. Angling left, 15. Slides feet first for the Jaguar 12. He is mobile. He can scoot. He was on the scooter there.
Heck yeah, Alex Smith on the run there. And a big gain using his feet, which he can do. Part of one of the great rallies in recent playoff history when he was able to lead the 49ers back to beat the New Orleans Saints in the 2011 season. Now he is here as the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback. Again, this is the Midwest Ford Dealers Chiefs Kingdom Show. We're live at Dave & Buster's, a gigantic crowd here tonight celebrating a 28-2 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars and getting ready now for as Red Monday turns into Red Tuesday and all the way through. And Red Friday coming up, of course, this week, and the Chiefs will host the Dallas Cowboys at Arrowhead Stadium. Here's an important announcement I wanted to bring up. A special NFL Films documentary of the late Derek Thomas is being put together. It's called A Football Life, and it is going to have a special preview. This is a much-anticipated sneak preview, and the NFL Films will actually be there to tape fans that come. This will be Wednesday, September the 18th. This will get you ready for the Eagles game. That'll be the following night in Philly. But Wednesday, September the 18th, it'll be at the North Club at Arrowhead Stadium. That's North Club of Arrowhead Stadium. Drinks, appetizers, there'll be autographs. The reception will be at 6:30. The screening will be at 7:30. Now, you can check this all out at thirdandlong.org, thirdandlong.org, because the best thing about this evening is the net proceeds benefit the Third and Long Foundation. But it's a special documentary put together by NFL Films called A Football Life on the career of the late Derek Thomas, of course, one of the guy that really revolutionized the game, being an off-edge rusher. Also, a reminder that next week we will be at the Gaslight Grill. That is down on about 137th Street, I believe, down in there, something, in Overland Park. And our guest will be Derek Johnson. Derek had a terrific game yesterday as well. I mean, everybody on the defense had a great game. Derek Johnson kind of did the dirty work and was outstanding as I watched the tape today. And we did this by design. Alex Smith being here tonight has been a terrific leader for us ever since he drove into town. And then also Derek Johnson has been a great leader for us on the defensive side of the ball. And as Alex gets ready to go home to the rest of his family, he and Hudson taking off. Give a gigantic cheer for Alex and let him know you appreciate him being here in Kansas City as the quarterback of this team. So again, next week we'll be at the Gaslight Grill, and Derek Johnson will be the guest. If you watched the game last night, you know the Dallas Cowboys put up 36 points last night, got 6 turnovers from the New York Giants. They had to recover an onside kick to win the game. But there's so much drama in this game, you'll hear me talk about it throughout the week. Of course, kind of 3 pieces of drama. One is the Dallas Cowboys will always be tied to this franchise because in 1963, the old Dallas Texans of the AFL were basically run out of town by the Cowboys. Fascinating stories about all that. And so the Texans chased out of town, became the Kansas City Chiefs. We have to thank the Cowboys for that, really. The second part of this story this week is the fact that Andy Reid, we talked about it with Andy in the first half hour, for 14 years knocked heads with the Cowboys. In his first year away from Philly, he's got to play the Dallas Cowboys in his home opening game. It's really ironic, I think. And Andy had his moments. He swept the Cowboys 4 of his first 6 years in Philly. I think he swept them 6 times in his 14 years. But he also lost to the Cowboys in the playoffs in 2009. That wasn't much fun for him. And then to me, the bigger thing to me, and maybe to the Kingdom, is the fact that the NFC East has had its moments against the Chiefs. In fact, the last time the Chiefs beat an NFC East team other than Washington was 1998, and it was the Dallas Cowboys. It's been that long. So I think it's time this Sunday for the Chiefs to go 2-0 and get after the Dallas Cowboys. I didn't mention tonight Riri is here. I should have mentioned Riri's part of the Geeks, and they're a big family. Again, Reed's Redheads gets their inaugural love tonight, led by the Queen of Hearts. The Purple Panthers here tonight, back there with the Irish Brigade, and so we want to give them a shout-out as well. Again, it's great to have you all here tonight. If you haven't noticed, this is very different in the Chiefs Kingdom. This started on December the 31st. 8 teams needed head coaches because they all made moves. Our Kingdom show was that night, and we talked about where there were just question marks of where the franchise was going to go the day after losing that game to the Denver Broncos. And 8 teams needed coaches. 7 teams wanted Andy Reid. The only one that didn't were the Eagles, and they just fired him. And I thought, wow, what would be the opportunity to get Andy Reid to be here as head coach? Then Tuesday it came out. On New Year's Day, it came out via social media that he was going to go to Arizona. That was never going to be true. People just put that out there. On Wednesday, the next day, Clark Hunt, the chairman of this franchise, worked quick and decisively and had a 9-hour meeting with Andy along with some others, and it was on. Since that point, I've said this many times, that's the pebble in the pond. On the 2nd of January, when Andy Reid pretty much gave a verbal saying, let's do this, and he called a lot of his people and said, we're going to Kansas City, pack your stuff, things have just taken off there like a prairie fire. I will tell you, This is the best head coach I've seen in 20 years here. This is a really, really good coaching staff. You heard Alex talk about the offensive side. I'm going to tell you the same thing on the defensive side. And you already seen what Dave Tobe can do. And he basically got Chicago to an NFC championship game because they were awesome in special teams. But the cooperation, the belief in each other throughout the building, from football side to the administrative side, from offense to defense, coaches to players, players to coaches, and everybody within the Chiefs Kingdom needs to know how drastically different it is. And it started on the 2nd of January when the biggest of redheads said, pack your stuff, we're going to Kansas City. And I will tell you this, he is excited as any one person to have the chance. It's on, ladies and gentlemen. And next is the Dallas Cowboys at Arrowhead Stadium. Next week, we will have Derek Johnson. And I hope I have another great crowd for him because he has been fantastic. We will be at Gaslight Grill in 137th Street or so in Overland Park. Thanks for being with us tonight on the Chiefs Fox Football Radio Network.
Kansas City!
You've been listening to Chiefs Kingdom, brought to you by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit them at your Midwest Ford dealers.